So, welcome back to BallySpring, and we're now up to the 1st of September, which means that we will be planting our wheat today, but we won't be doing that on camera, I'm sorry, because I've got to feed all the animals first, and that takes over half an hour, so we won't get time to do anything else apart from feed some animals on this video, I'm sorry. Right, that's alright. I thought I'd have a quick video because I had a very busy weekend and only had the chance to do the one very quick video on the weekend and didn't have time to do anything else, so I thought I'd jump on and do one now. I must say though, I had a very good weekend. So it started off on Saturday morning. My wife was away this weekend, by the way. She was away on a marching trip, so with her marching team, so that's pretty cool. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to grab the boom there. And so, and my daughter was busy all weekend she had sleepover, or she had her older sister come over to hang out and do stuff with her and things like that, so it was pretty cool for her. So yeah, and she also had a sleepover, so I had a weekend to basically do whatever I wanted. So on the Saturday morning, I might put the lights on this actually, I went to a show that was put on by the International Plastic Modelers Society. Now, the International Plastic Modelers Society, or IPMS as they're called, I used to do this many years ago when I was much younger. I haven't done it for years and I don't intend to take it up again now, but it's still an interest of mine, is where they're working on plastic model kit sets, you know, like the kind of things that you can buy made by Tamiya or Monogram or Revell and things, and you build up these model kit sets of things, and I quite like them. As I said, I've got enough hobbies on the go already, so I don't want to take that hobby up again, but it doesn't stop me from enjoying the stuff they made. Now, since my wife was away, she asked me what I was doing on the Saturday morning. I said I'm going to see some international models, and I mean, she knows me, she knows my sense of humour, so she wasn't worried in the slightest. She also knows me well enough to know that I wouldn't be going off to oogle at some woman or something, so she's not worried about anything like that. But yeah, I said I was going to see some international models. It was the International Plastic Modelers Society. But while I was there, I did see some really nicely done models. There's one guy that had made a plastic model of the Minnie from Goodbye Pork Pie. Now that's a very famous New Zealand movie from the 80s, I think it was from. Yes, I'm pretty sure it was the 80s. If you've never seen Goodbye Pork Pie, I'd highly recommend that you track it down on, it must be on one of these online streaming things, and watch it. It's an absolutely brilliant movie. It's basically about a guy who's unemployed and got no money and no prospect of a life, sort of thing, and he sees this very rich woman drop a wallet, and he goes to pick it up and give it back to her, and she's really rude and just dismisses him before she even hears what he wants to say to her. So he sort of goes, well, stuff you. He looks in this wallet, and her name's Leslie, which of course can be a guy's name or a girl's name, and her licence is in there, and there's a stack of money in there. So he decides to go and rent a car, because of course being unemployed and out of money, he's never had any of the enjoyment that comes with the freedom of having a car. So he decides to rent a car from Hertz, and he rents this little yellow Mini, and he decides to have some fun with it. But he ends up meeting another fella that he doesn't know from a bar of soap, who's just gone through a very messy relationship breakup, and his partner's taken off down to so they live in Auckland, or just north of Auckland, I don't recall which. Anyway, so this other guy, his partner has just moved all the way down to the bottom of the South Island to get away from him, and he wants to go down and try and patch things up in this relationship. And so this guy that's got the rental Mini decides, oh yeah, I'll take you down to the bottom of the South Island, you know, the whole length of the country, no trouble whatsoever. So of course the rental car is really stolen, because the credit card they used to, or I can't remember if it was a credit card or cash, but if it was cash, it was stolen cash. and the license he got under wasn't his own or anything. He doesn't have one, so there's basically a stolen rental car that the two guys are travelling the length of the New Zealand in, and all their adventures along the way, and it is quite amusing. And so one person had done a very, very nice little model of the car from that, and its end of the movie, fairly beaten up state that it ends up in by the end of the movie. But also, I saw a person who was, I don't know whether he was selling them or whether he was just displaying them, but there were a lot of them built, also a lot in boxes, which I think he might have been selling them even, of these, a style called Ghibli, which is a Japanese style, and it's sort of not totally unlike the cartoon cars I already built out of Lego, but he had some other things. He had aeroplanes and Formula One race cars and aircraft carriers and things, all done in this Ghibli style. And the best way I can think of to explain Ghibli style is imagine taking a bicycle pump to whatever it is you're doing, like a car or a motorbike or whatever, attaching a bicycle pump to it and very, very seriously overinflating it. So all the proportions are way, way out, but it's still highly recognisable as what's meant to be in things. And anyway, they had these Ghibli style aircraft carriers. I really, really liked them. They had planes on them, of course, that were done in the same style. And I just thought it was absolutely brilliant. So I thought, well, I don't want to get back into plastic modelling. You know, it's not a cheap hobby or anything. But I reckon I could do something like this out of Lego. So that's what I'm going to do as my next project. And I actually thought in this video that I could share a few things I've built recently. So I've got some pictures saved on the computer. I moved those to the computer to show you, but let me just, this is almost empty, so I'll just empty that so I can put the next load in. There we go. There doesn't be much left in there. So I'll head around here and put the next load in it. Okay, reloading in from the wrong side, that won't matter. Anyway, let me actually, what we'll do first, because I don't want time ticking on too quickly while I'm not doing anything in the game, so we'll just pause the game momentarily so that stops time, and then we can jump out and I can show you these photos that I've got saved on the computer to show you. So that's the easiest way now to get out of the game, is to open up the task manager and then quit that. So if we go into the photos, pictures, here we go. So what I'm going to show you first is, where's the actual planes? Oh yeah, so this is, I don't know my military, come on, it's opening, here we go. I don't know my military planes very well, I'm sorry. So this might be an F-14? I'm not sure. An F something anyway, it's a modern fighter jet. And as you can see, it looks like it's been overinflated with a bicycle pump. Very, very heavily overinflated. So it's still quite recognisable as what it's meant to be, but it's very, very, the dimensions are completely out of whack. Now what I'm looking at doing is building some aeroplanes like that out of Lego to go on an aircraft carrier, which is equally as out of whack. Now you can see how this is way, way too short for how wide it is and things. So, you know, basically it looks like it's been run into a brick wall at very high speed. But I really, really rather like the look of that. And the one thing I would do a wee bit differently is I'd probably have like a Lego minifig at the end of the runway type thing, holding the, you know, the red light things that they have for to help planes take off and land and all that. But the figure would be so big compared to the aircraft carrier, it'd probably be taller than the superstructure of the aircraft carrier there. And you know, so I have a couple of maybe on my aeroplanes, I'm thinking instead of doing it with a canopy like that, I might have no canopy on it and just have a big flying flying helmet and sort of thing at the top instead. So his head's sort of poking out the top of the aeroplane. But you see these aircraft carriers, I thought they look really, really good. I rather like the style of them because I think they're very, very recognisable, but at the same time they're so out of, you know, dimensions are so out of whack that they just they give it a really good cartoon look to it. I think I could do quite a good job there at a Lego, so I'm going to have a go at trying to build that. Now, also show you a couple of things I have been working on lately. So this is the latest thing I've just finished building, and this is meant to be the Arosa line in Switzerland. Now, to give you some idea of the scale of this, the engine here is 1 stud wide by 4 studs long, and each coach is 1 stud by 5 studs. So the whole thing is tiny. In fact, this whole scene is 21 studs long by 6 studs wide. Despite that, there's still 103 trees on this little scene I've made, and 103 trees in 6 different colours and 3 different heights. Although, because of course the hillsides, sort of, on different heights there as well, it looks like there's a lot more than 3 different heights of trees, but there are actually only 3 different heights there to get that look. So that's the latest thing I've just finished building, and it's really, really tiny, but I rather like it. I've also done that. Now, don't ask me, someone else asked me, what theatre would a P-51 Mustang have been chasing after a Zero over a township that looks like it's probably Greek or maybe Spanish? And the answer is there probably wasn't any. But I wanted to do this style of village simply because I needed some brighter colours to brighten up the whole scene. I didn't want it all in rather dark tones and things, which is why I did this style of village. And I've got a little church there and a little fountain with a statue in it and things, and these 2 planes. And again, this is very, very tiny scale. I've been building a lot in tiny scale recently. And when I go to the next one, so this is the style of character I've come up with. You can see you've got very short legs and a way, way oversized head. So I'm thinking about using the same sort of character on my aircraft carrier, something like that. Now this motorbike here, this is interesting. We're doing a competition in our Lego club at the moment, and this is going to be one of my entries. And the competition has been running for a month, and it finishes this Saturday. You've got to bring along models made using 30 pieces or less. Now, not counting the person here and not counting the base that's on, just looking at the motorcycle itself on its own, that is exactly 30 pieces in that motorbike. But again, it's very, very tiny. And I'll show you a few other things I've built using that's Hawaii using 4 pieces. So I built the whole of Hawaii using 4 pieces. I'll show you some more that use 30 pieces or less. So that's Johnny 5 from the movie Short Circuit, if you remember that from the 80s. I think that one uses about 28 or 29 pieces from memory. Each one of those uses only about 20 pieces each, so you can't do all 3 using 30 pieces or less, but you could build any one of them with 30 or less. That one, the red one here, uses about 32 pieces at the moment, but I could change it very, very slightly to get it down to 30. That would be no trouble. And the blue one's using, I think, 29 from memory. So they're, well, almost 30 pieces or less in both, and could easily be changed into that. Those, again, are very, very tiny. They're 2 studs wide by 5 studs long, so really, really tiny. And that one there uses well under 30. I think that uses about 22 or 23 from memory, so well and truly under 30. I think, yep, that seems to be the last picture I had saved to show you. But I just wanted to show you some of the stuff I've been working on lately. I've been building these really, really small things. They don't take much money to build. They don't take much space up when they're built, so that's why I've been doing those. Now we'll just go back to the farm and go continue. So now we can jump out, and I think I used the David Brown. I should probably actually have used the International, because I know that PA Playboy likes my International, but I do like the International, but I actually like the John Deere here, the David Brown slightly better. I think the colour scheme's just slightly nicer than the David Brown. Probably just 'cause it's a bit more unusual. There's a lot of red tractors around, of course, not so many white coloured tractors. Put the lights on again. Now we're getting fairly low on the hay here and on the straw, which is why we're going to be planting wheat, because I want more straw bales. And I can't remember whether it's September or October that I'm going to mow the fields again. But when I do, I've got 6 fields to mow, and I'll probably do 3, maybe 4 of them in hay, and the rest in silage. I'm not running low on silage, but the advantage that silage has is that you can make a bit more money because you can sell it. The silage, once it's finished turning into silage, it's worth a wee bit more money than the other type of bale. And for any of you that are watching this video and haven't watched any of my earlier ones where I show you around my farm and things, it's going to look a wee bit strange, because if you can work out whereabouts on the BallySpring map I'm on, and I'll show you where I am. I'm on the bottom farm here, down here in this corner, okay? But, of course, you won't be used to seeing gates behind me there, you won't be used to there being a gate or a gateway here, or a barn off to my right there. I have done a lot of work to this map, not all at once. I've sort of slowly done different things as I've found different things that I wanted to do to it, but overall this map is now completely different from how it was originally made. Oh, why's that one still got wrap on? I thought I'd taken the wrap off all of my silage bales there now, and funnily enough, oh, they've all re-wrapped themselves, okay. And that seems odd, because they were showing done wrapped before, and now they've wrapped themselves again. Oh well, it's not a biggie. Not a biggie at all. I'll just unwrap them as I need them. But yes, so the recipe, I suppose you can call it, for silage on this map, and this is a really, really weird thing. The way you make silage varies a wee bit depending on what map you're on. So on this map, I make silage by putting in 1 bale of hay and 2 bales of, not to make silage, so I meant to make TMR, total mixed rations. So on this map, you make total mixed rations by putting in 1 bale of hay and 2 bales of silage, like that, and that makes total mixed rations. It doesn't take any straw. Well, I do use the straw for the bedding in both the calf barn and in the little calf igloos as well. All use straw for bedding, so that's what I use the straw for. But yeah, on this particular map you don't use straw in the TMR. In some other maps I do 1 bale of hay, 1.5 to 2 bales of silage and half a bale of straw. So yeah, there are definitely some maps where you need to use straw in your TMR, but in this one you don't. So I tend not to, because often I have to buy in the straw bales. I am going to be growing some wheat, so because I'm only using it for bedding on this map, I should probably have the wheat that I'm going to plant today grown and harvested and baled up before I run out. But if I don't quite make it, then I can always buy a few in. My overdraft's reasonably at a good level at the moment here, so I've got plenty of money I can borrow if I need to, but we are still working to try and get that overdraft paid off. It did go up a wee bit, of course, when that Steyr tractor was bought, which EP owns, because even though it's got EP's number plate on it and things, of course, because I'm playing this map in a single player game, not in a multiplayer, there's only the one budget for everybody to share. It's only when you play multiplayer that each player has their own budget to share in, to spend their money on and things. And in single player, everyone has to share the same budget. So technically I own all the vehicles, but I give them the different number plates so that I can remember who owns what and things. And it's quite good, because although it means I save myself paying rental for leasing equipment, because I still have to pay the daily maintenance charge on all the equipment, regardless of whether I own it or whether one of the other people on the map own it. It still works out as me spending money. It's not a money saving. In fact, to be perfectly honest, it would probably be cheaper not to have any neighbours and to just rent the equipment that I need as I need it. But this is the first map I've tried actually having neighbours, and I'm really enjoying it, so I'll probably do that on more maps going forwards. Obviously not on the couple where I own the whole map. I think on Ballycraig I own the whole map, so I couldn't have any neighbours because they'd be off the map. It's a thing. But on most of my maps I don't own the whole map, so I could have neighbours. Certainly this one I only own a very small corner of the map. It's quite a decent sized map. I always intended actually to farm a couple of the other farms on this map at some point. I just never ever got around to it. Anyway, I completely forgot entirely to start my timer when I started my video, so I've got absolutely no idea how long this video's been going for. I think I started at about 7 AM on the timer up there, which now says 7:16. I must have spoken for 5 or 10 minutes when I had it paused while I was showing you different Lego things as I was looking at and things. So this video's probably got to about its full length now, so I shall let you go and I shall finish feeding the animals off camera, and you might see me planting the straw, you might not. It just depends how much time I have to do this compared to when I next have time to actually make a video. So you might see me planting wheat, sorry, not straw. You might see me planting wheat. You might not. I'm just not sure yet. But anyway, I'll definitely catch up with you again at some point. Thank you very much. Bye.